Oh, actually, hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Mega, and I'm live. So today I'm actually gonna be live with Crimson Keishan. If you want, you can say hello now.
Was good.
So he's actually gonna be with me today, talking about Superman. So evolution of Superman. So starting off, I'll probably ramble after a while about him, but yeah, for the most part. So starting off the stream, I just want to talk about something happening in pop culture, something new has been going on. So that's gonna actually be the last episode of Last of Us that came out last week, not this one that came out currently. There's been so much backlash about it because of the characters being gay. People apparently, I guess, didn't realize that they were when they played the game, even though they drove off in a truck with man porno magazine inside of it. So I don't really understand how people didn't get that yet. um Plus a lot of innuendos coming in here and there from it. So it's really interesting what they actually did on that. But did you have anything you want to add on that, Crimson Keishan, before we actually started going on to the topic?
I mean, so personally, I didn't have a problem with it. The only thing I did have a problem with, like the actual like the gay stuff that's happening in there, it was already alluded to in the game. So like it's not a big surprise. I
Yeah.
was surprised that Bill died though.
Oh yeah, I was actually surprised about that too. I watched it with Miss Potter, and that was like the only thing I had like an actual issue with. I was like, oh, I kind of wish Bill didn't die. I wanted him to actually be introduced to, alive, and this very angry, paranoid person, which I would have loved. But honestly, I can't really say that they did a bad job with it. And also I saw like somebody said, I think it was the logo designer said like it's an adaptation, it's a live adaptation. It's not going to be completely true to the series. If they wanted it to be frame by frame of what happened in the game, um, if you want it to be that way, you could just play the video game.
I could
And
definitely agree on that.
yeah, it was like I thought I heard that and I was like, all right, okay, I get it.
You know, not to get off topic, but when I first started watching the show, that was my expectation. I went in blind, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like, oh, I thought it was gonna be like a somewhat like live actionish version of the video game, and it wasn't. But it wasn't bad.
yeah, it's definitely not a bad series, and that's something I don't think anyone's understanding yet. It it's doing a great job, and in all honesty, I think I want to see what's gonna happen. My only like huge critique about it, which isn't like a critique, it's just me having um being very impatient and not really being good with like shows that take that long. It's just the time, like how long the episodes are, and
Yeah.
I don't think that's an everyone else thing. I think it's just probably just me going like, God, they could have done this in an hour. And that's pretty much it.
I mean, you gotta think about it. You're essentially watching a short film every time you watch an episode.
Yeah,
So I don't know, man. It could be shorter, but I mean, with how much content that they're trying to put into it, it makes sense. You also
exactly.
gotta put into like account that if you're watching on like normal HBO, there's commercials in there. So our hour and like a half or hour and 20 minutes is probably like 2 hours for everyone else.
That's very true. I would not be able to sit through that.
Can I just be very honest with you? I slightly fell asleep at the end of the first episode when I watched it. Not, not that I was bored or anything. It's a good episode. I just got tired.
Dude, I was
Low key
huffing and
tired.
puffing at the end, like, oh my god, is there more to this? Can we take a break?
Like I thought this was an hour. I didn't know I was watching the freaking Avatar.
Yeah, oh my god, don't get me started on
Well,
the Avatar. We talked about that one episode ago, like a couple episodes ago. So
hold on, let me just say, you know what? People complaining about the freaking Last of Us show, but did they forget the live action Avatar or live action Dragon Ball?
oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to do this, but like people keep setting the bar a little bit lower. And not with this show, but like with Velma and everything. Um
Oh, don't get me
yeah.
started on that.
Yeah, exactly.
How you
All
gonna
right.
have a Scooby Doo show without Scooby Doo in it?
They're adding Scooby Doo soon, apparently. So
Mm. Is it gonna
it's
be a Chihuahua?
no, it's gonna be a black woman who's a blogger, a food blogger.
What?
Yep.
I hate it here.
So yeah, that's pretty much what it's gonna be. All right, but I guess let's get the actual thing on the roll. So today's stream is actually gonna be about Superman, even though we talked about The Last of Us, hilariously enough. So starting off, Superman is obviously the one of the very first superheroes to come out. He was somewhere in between World War II happening, like I believe the 1940 or 1938 or something like that. Um when Superman did come out, he actually wasn't like this, you know, extreme superhero, like superpowered being. He was like, you know, what everyone said originally, you know, more powerful than a locomotive, able to jump you know, tall buildings in one single bound, stronger, what was it, faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to jump tall buildings in a single bound. um he wasn't like this super crazy character who was able to fly into outer space, fight gods. He was just a guy who actually started off fighting the police because he was fighting for those injustices that everyone is actually fighting for now. So what so like so you like what is Superman like for you? Because I mean, I think we probably both watched Superman the animated series when we were younger, so I just want to see what he was for you.
Okay. I mean, that Superman. I mean, he was. I'm not gonna say he was like a role model because that's so cliche,
Yeah.
but I feel like he was the ideal of being like a righteous person. You know what I mean? So like just like the bar, like the standard. You know what I mean? Someone who has great power. Gonna quote Spider Man.
Go
Responsibility.
right
You know what I
ahead.
mean? You know, great,
Yeah.
great power, great responsibility. But at the same time, you know, still having to fight with like a darker side of himself. So it's kind of like I, it's going to sound really weird to say, but slightly like the normal struggles of like your modern man in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How we have to have so much control over our power, over our emotions, but you know, still trying to give out at the same time.
Yeah.
You know,
So
so just the
Amber,
ideal.
he's just the ideal type of man that everyone wants to be, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. I can actually agree with that. So I can't like Batman's the guy who's like everyone thought they should be, or like they're the super edgy person, but then you have Superman who's like the ideal man that everyone's always like trying to become, like the average Joe who, you know, works the 9 to 5, and then, you know, the Superman is the guy that everyone's like always striving to be. Um, able to stop a crime when he can. Um, unfortunately, you know, we can't stop bullets with our skin, you know, and
Can
survive,
shoot
I
with our
should,
brain.
and survive.
I mean,
But
50 Cent lived.
yeah, okay, he got, okay, 50 Cent's a different breed. But yeah, he's most definitely like a guy that everyone like, you know, can secretly think of like trying to be like. That's some people's like inspiration to like go work out, try to get stronger, try to be this super buff guy. um and then others who are like, I am super strong, but I can also be caring, which is always nice. But Amber has said, I have always watched Superman, but I didn't watch the Henry Cavill one.
I
um
didn't either.
Honestly, I say go watch it. Like that's, it's it's pretty good. Like it's a very like grainy world that he lives in. Like they really put like a weird filter on his life, but in all honesty, that one was a pretty good movie. um I'm not gonna say it was like 10 out of 10, oh my god, like go watch it, but like if you have time, just sit down. You'll probably just like, it's kind of like you can appreciate like the way he made that Superman, and it's like really nice to do.
Can I make a quick comment?
Yeah, go right ahead.
It's kind of so an impact of Superman and just comics in general. So without Superman, I feel like there would no. I'm sorry, there would not be like a big anime scene, just
Oh, most
because of
definitely not.
how comics and I guess Superman himself kind of influenced majority of anime and manga.
Yeah.
Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of comics from like before Superman was ever created was just more or less Calvin and Hobbes, Garfield kind of style comic books. So it's like more comic strips that were just more based on comedy or propaganda for, you know, something that's happening in the world. Maybe not, like, propaganda may not be the right word, but um kind of just something that like kind of like gains your attention because it's happening currently. Just like more current events. Superman, when Superman and Batman were created, they were more for oh, this is interesting. We don't really, you know, this is like the news, this over the radio. You hear the story about Superman like saving, you know, saving a bus of kids, and you're just like, oh wow, this is really interesting. I can't really do that. But you don't really hear the, you don't hear Garfield on the radio. You just hear like, you just read him and like you're on page 4 in your comics or in your newspaper, and you just kind of like chuckle, and then you just kind of keep going throughout your life, and you see the next comic strip the next day for Garfield.
Yep.
Um, but it's something, I don't know, it's because something about Superman actually brought so much attention is so interesting now. Because I mean, realistically, without Superman, probably wouldn't have Goku. So we could have the argument who's better, you know, Goku versus Superman. Um, and you don't have the polar opposite, who is, you know, as we all know, is Batman, who obviously is just a man with no superpowers, but is still doing everything he can do with just gadgets and tech rather than these crazy powers and abilities. He just has
But
money.
I mean, hear me out. He kind of has his own super ability. This man is a freaking savant. He is smart as hell, man.
Oh, absolutely. He's done so much. But
I mean, training with the freaking League of Assassins, bro.
it's scary and impressive for sure.
Exactly.
I,
Sorry, can I get off topic right quick?
go ahead.
Goku versus Batman, no powers. Batman like slaps him, no disrespect. Just saying.
Okay, I agree with that. But I do think Goku versus Vegeta might be a different story. He might win.
Yeah.
I think he may win, but it's going to be a harder time because Goku's a little too airheaded, and Batman will probably just punch him in the eyes.
Yeah. No, that's very true. Very true.
So I guess. Oh, sorry, my eye is starting to twitch. It's been doing that for a couple days now. So yeah, if you guys see me like rub my eye really quick, is I have like my eye's been pretty twitchy recently. Yeah, I don't know why.
Is that a bridge baby?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's my BB.
Oh, BB.
This is one of my first collector's editions that I actually paid full price for.
I'm not gonna lie, if I woke up and I saw that just like glowing inside my room, I'd be high key shook.
I mean, in all honesty, I don't think. Yeah, I don't have the battery in there right now, but it does actually have a glow to it.
Oh nah.
Yeah, it's a really faint glow, but it does creep some people out nonetheless. I love it. I will say that I do love it. So next question is already on there. It is, how did Superman change comic books? We actually did a little bit of it recently because, like I said earlier, before Superman was actually created, most comics were just comic strips of like Garfield, Calvin and Hobbes. Some were, you know, I think Bugs Bunny might have been created by that point too. I'm not too sure. So it was just more, you know, comic books were more for comic sake. So like things were just there to be funny. They weren't there to, you know, to do too much after that point. So Superman and, you know, superhero comics really did make comic books more of an action based ideal. So the other thing I actually wanted to bring up was, in the death of Superman, it actually brought up a lot more too. So before the death of Superman, when any superhero actually died in a comic book, that was it. So that was like 100% done. The Flash died. He became he turned to bones and he turned to dust. After that point, the death of Superman happened, what basically did happen at that point was the comic book reality kind of shifted a little bit. So he died, obviously. They had a whole funeral service for him. A lot of people, even though it was in the 90s, and in the 90s comic books weren't even as popular as they were a little bit beforehand. We have Superman dying, his body going back to the Fortress of Solitude, three or four different characters, Superboy, the Eradicator, Cyborg Superman, and Steel being created after that point to take the mantle of Superman. But Superman, if you guys haven't realized from the rambling, is the first comic book character actually to come back from death. Yeah, he really was.
I really didn't realize that.
So Superman is the first comic book character to come back from death, which is something that has fully shifted comics so hard that in the more recent comics we have the entire Justice League dying, and Dick Grayson saying like it's fine because Batman has died, Superman has died, the Flash has died, even Dick Grayson has died, and they all come back continuously. It's such a comic book trope to kill a character that they don't even care anymore. So, and it's just kind of wild to me. So it's something I actually wanted to bring up. Crimson, Keishan, I don't know if you wanted to add anything more to that. I know you just said that you were really surprised at that fact alone. Did you have anything else you wanted to bring up?
No, I'm just really thinking, like, yeah, the death of Superman. I remember when they did like the movie adaptation. I think it was like the animated movie of it. I remember a lot of people were highly upset about that. I think it was like that Superman Doomsday when he died.
Yeah.
So I mean, just thinking about that, it's like, yo, it's kind of crazy. Like he really did impact a lot of different people, even if he's just a comic book character. He kind of
Yeah.
transcends this comic books in general.
It's just something that you can never fully embrace. I guess you never really understand how good something is until it's gone, which is probably the best way to say it. Because I guess it's just the same thing that happened with Jason Todd, because everyone, when Jason Todd came out, everyone didn't like him, and then when they gave them the vote of, do you want to, they had him kidnapped, they did all the torture and stuff, and they're like, do you want him to be out of the comic? And so at that point, everyone voted yes, we want, like, get him out. We don't want him anymore. And then they murdered, like, they actually like Stone Cold like killed him, and then at that point he came back several years later, but he's a new character and everyone has loved him now. So
True.
it's kind of wild. Actually, Miss Potter says, so do you think Superman set the trend? Set the trend of killing comic book characters? Maybe. It might have been the setting.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, it technically did, yeah. So I have that comic book issue. What's crazy is that they kept the story over and over. They kept the story over and over again because it grounds Kal-El to reality. A lot of people didn't like the consequences of their actions when it came to Jason. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people don't. I think that's still something that happens today. Like a lot of people realize, like, because I've done this in people's streams. So like a lot of people do like obviously you can set actions of what people are going to do in the stream. You can like pressure them into doing it, and then after they do it, you feel the regret. You're like, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen. I'm so sorry. I didn't think that was actually going to be a thing. And I know I've done that in like a Planet Zoo stream where I was like, put this small dog in the same cage as the lions, and then the lions just ate the animal, and I was like, I didn't think that was going to actually happen. But I guess here we are.
Like in like the Quarry or like the Telltale games, where it's like, oh man, your choices are actually gonna like impact some shit.
Yeah, and then I guess when it happens in real life, it kind of fully sets in when the action is fully done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of wild. I mean, I guess it's more or less like your action. You don't really realize what actions you're gonna do, and then you do it, and then it's more or less pretty bad.
Oh my
Rentals.
god, so much trauma from Telltale Games.
Yeah, I just read that.
Low key, I'm kind of upset that Telltale didn't do a Superman game. They did a Batman game, but they ain't doing no Superman game.
Well, they're also I think bankrupted, so they're no longer making video games anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just surprised that no one like picked it up. Because I mean,
You know,
the
honestly
Telltale
though,
series is still there. You know what I mean?
the Telltale series is doing so well in the horror movies aren't well the horror game genre right now, and I'm really sad that it's not going anywhere else with it.
I mean, remember they tried it with Tales of the Borderlands, and
Honestly, I liked it.
really,
Yeah, I
are
don't
you talking
like.
about the new one
I
or the
haven't
older
played the
one?
new one. I played the old one.
Because the old ones were good. The new one I heard is
Yeah.
not that good.
Okay. So I played the new one. I played the old one. Sorry, and I really thought that was a good game. And wait, hold on. There's like a lot of things going on in chat too. But the old one, great. I haven't played the new one. I actually do want to play it. I did play the Batman Telltale games, and those were really good as well. My issue always was that I don't like. It's so weird. I don't ever feel like they were good enough to buy, but there are some phenomenal games to get for free with PlayStation Plus.
Yes.
And I think that's probably like where my issue lied with them. So if they were like $30, like $30 to $40, I think they would be good. But like 60 to 70, I'm not paying for a Telltale game.
Yeah. Were they ever that expensive?
I don't
I
know.
thought they were. I could have sworn they were like low, maybe like $20 games at some point, maybe like 20 to like 15, just because there was no like physical release for them
I think they
most of the
well,
time.
yeah, I was gonna say there's the Batman and the one that Rental just said, Wolf Among Us had a physical release for their games.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
And I mean, technically, The Walking Dead one did too.
that one too. I never played that one
Yeah,
though.
I started it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
So Miss Potter said, this action will have consequences, and it's literally that. Like the actions. I mean, I guess DC Comics kind of played Telltale before it even came out because they definitely made people pay for their actions with that Jason Todd move,
Hmm.
and a lot of people like immediately regretted it. And then at the same time, the people who didn't even vote, because I heard it was like the votes were basically like 51-49, and like it was like that close, and they just kind of went like, all right, screw it. And I mean, you can't really say that like DC didn't even give them what their viewers wanted. Their readers wanted it, and they took it.
But then they just instantly regretted it.
Yeah,
Instant
exactly.
regret.
um let's see, Rentals also said, bro, my mom was like, play this game with your brother, then played Wolf Among Us, saw someone croak, Telltale's back. Yo,
Jeez.
I should probably start playing Wolf Among Us. I heard that one is actually pretty good too.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, but basically, like he really did change a lot of things in comic books, though. Just to go back into the topic.
Hmm.
Um. Do you remember when fans complained about how comics got too gritty? Got too giddy. So they were like, "Hold my." Oh, yeah, I think
Like what?
giddy. So hold my beer. And I think he's probably talking about Uncanny X-Men. um. Honestly, yeah. I the thing I talk about with people all the time is that there's a future Superman comic where like old man Superman looks like Santa Claus, like an edgy
That's
Santa
not.
Claus, like super buff edgy Santa Claus, and then like the comic panel, well, not comic book panel, the cover is him holding like 70,000 big ass gun, and it's just like he's shooting people with it because he's not as strong as he used to be. And I will forever say that is the most ridiculous comic I ever looked at in my life. And I will send you the link to that.
Yeah, I kind of gotta see that for scientific purposes.
Yes, I will. I will totally do that for you. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Um,
That might be my next wallpaper. Not gonna lie.
I will find it. Don't you worry. The other thing with Superman though is that there's also so many characters who are based off of like Superman's abilities or like his base abilities, of just flight, super strength, sometimes laser vision, and you know, just all the like just I guess the main three is just flight, super strength, and super speed. Oh, and yeah, that's it. It's a super strength already. So we have. I could give you like a couple characters off my hand because we talked about them a little bit earlier, which would be Omni Man, Sentry. There's Blue Marvel now as well, and Brightburn. Just those are four right there. And also, if you see, I'm wearing a Bizarro shirt, so also Bizarro. Oh, and Hyperion. So those characters already. So with I can see. Oh, Jory Bisson wants Henry Cavill to actually play the Sentry, which would be actually pretty crazy.
That would.
If he could play like dual characters as well, he could be Sentry in the other side as well. That'd be pretty good. I would love that.
Not
But
gonna lie, I didn't think he was gonna be a good Superman. But
oh,
he was.
really?
he- I just I didn't think he was gonna be able to do it. And I didn't think it was gonna be a good Witcher either. But he proved me wrong.
I haven't even watched the Witcher series. It's just one of those things I still have on the back burner.
It's good to up until the end of season 2.
Okay.
Actually, no, season 1's probably the best. It's just kind of confusing.
I mean, I'll still watch it. If it's good, it's good. But you know, with all those characters, actually, why do you think so many people actually want to recreate Superman?
Hmm, That's a very good question. I mean, he's the golden boy, man. He's if you can have a Superman inside your series, it's bound to sell. Or I guess kind of like an Omni Man's point, he's like an I guess an evil Superman in a sense.
He is an evil
Superman
Superman in
with
a sense.
yeah, with Superman with an ulterior motive, kind of like the Injustice game Superman, slightly.
Yeah,
But
and
I mean, it's a good money grab, not gonna lie, and it usually makes stories a lot better.
yeah, most definitely. I think with a lot of it, I know with Omni Man, it's definitely something to give you like the big bad for your character,
Mhm.
and it's always like you know how strong Omni Man is, so you have Invincible, who is very easily broken, has to now be able to defeat this guy, and he hasn't been able to successfully defeat many people who are like way lower than him. So now you have to understand like how he's gonna progress to get to there. Um, with All Might as well. So we all know who I mean, I think we all know who All Might is. Let me not assume that we all know who All Might is.
I am here. That's all you gotta know.
Yeah. So with All Might in mind, we have, a guy who's basically larger than life, and now we actually have to we have to watch Deku, a boy who just recently got his powers, and his body is not even fully adjusted to successfully using his abilities, now has to become this guy, or close to this guy. And I think that's the scary thing.
Bro, I think you just confirmed that my hero is just invincible.
My hero's just invincible. Actually,
It's just
wait.
invincible. Loki just confirmed it.
I might have actually just like the same plot, the same by accident.
Invincible's just Superman. So my hero is just Superman. Confirmed.
Oh god, no, I messed up.
Damn.
Okay, let me go to the comments so I don't have to listen to myself anymore. All right. So we have Rental said, oh, I actually read that recently. Dude, he like putting things over the actual chat. Dude, he's badass. He was just Frank Castle. Oh, yep. Yep. I know. Hyperion, the Sentry thing, absolutely. Um,
Oh, I didn't realize that. Legit, Shazam is just Superman.
yeah. Shazam is just
Yeah,
magical Superman.
yeah.
Um, honestly, with all the superpowers as Superman has, I always just laugh at the fact that if somebody went abracadabra, he might faint. Like that's always my ongoing joke. Like Superman, the strongest man on Earth, abracadabra. Oh no, it's just.
So, are you saying that he loses to Harry Potter? Scaling wise, he loses to Harry Potter?
I don't ever want to say that out loud. um, let's see. Omni Man and Invincible have potential to throw down, though. Yes, they. I actually want to see a fight between them, like a rematch would be great.
Didn't they
Mr.
finish the comic?
I actually don't know. I do know a lot of things happen in Invincible that I'm not saying today because it might ruin the actual show, and I don't want to ruin the show.
True.
Like
Isn't it coming back for another season?
it is up for another season. It's supposed to be they did say there's going to be coming out hopefully later this year.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Things to watch.
Mr. Majestic, then there was a we'll call him a German Superman. There's been a lot of, and like actually we can talk about those too, just because you brought that one up. Well, German Superman, Russian Superman, and Brightburn, those are probably the strongest and most Superman-esque villains to come out. I do believe they probably made like well, Brainiac was created because of the whole, villain that needs to do be like basically the Collector from Marvel, or I don't know who came for Brainiac, probably came before the Collector. But Darkseid was probably created to be a counterpart of Superman, and now he is a god who is also in multiverses, not in just one universe. He is a god who doesn't show himself his actual physical form in one universe. He will just put like a stand-in, I guess, of his potential in a universe, and Superman actually fights that instead of the actual Darkseid, which is kind of wild if you think about that too.
That's crazy to think about how it all started off with a man who is faster than a speeding bullet, and now he is fifth dimensional, writing his
Yes.
own story if he's gonna lose.
Yeah, basically. And it's kind of wild because like before the first, like the all-star Superman of him dying, he was able to lift the equivalent of what the Earth weighs, and he also said that that was too light.
Hmm.
And so that kind of gives you like a kind of an idea of like how strong Superman is. He can do reps of like how much the Earth weighs, and that's kind of like a scary idea that we have this man who is constantly able to basically um what is it, like literal planet buster, but
Mhm.
he's like, I'm humble, I'm not gonna do that today. If I wanted to though, we're all kind of fucked.
No,
But
that's kind of like the whole entire premise of like Dragon Ball too, just on a smaller scale.
yeah, and actually elaborate.
Well, I mean to say that kind of because like if you think about it, the the Z fighters, they all, well, not all, maybe Yamcha might be up to that level, but majority of them are planet busters, and they always have to condense their powers so they don't blow up the Earth whenever they fight. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
yeah, no, I got you now, because that's why they always have to kind of like aim forward or up.
Yes. So like they have the potential to destroy it, like destroy. I'm not gonna say galaxies. I don't think I've seen a galaxy feats really. but
No, I think
multi-planetaries
yeah, I
probably
think
the highest I've seen.
the strongest is still probably Beerus, and he hasn't destroyed. He only just like destroys planets one by one, but he could probably do like a couple at a time if he really felt like it.
Yeah, unless you want to count Zeno, but he's not like there. He was confirmed to like
Actually, yeah,
no galaxy. Oh, but that was in like that other movie, the OG Broly.
yeah, maybe OG Broly, not maybe the new Broly too. He just
I mean, if you're
hasn't
going
gotten there
by
yet.
Super's power scaling, technically they all should be way past that.
Yeah,
I don't know,
but
it's weird, but the whole
yeah,
thing is it's all derived off of like Superman stuff in a sense, or
yeah,
loosely
very loosely, but still,
inspired. I'll put it like that.
yeah. Oh, wait. Also, the fact that Beerus has stated he can erase the universe, but he'd be out of a job. Okay, so he's actually able to destroy the universe, but he refuses. He just chooses not to because he would be out of a job for it. That's a fair point.
True.
All right, so I'm gonna just because it seems like we could talk about this for hours. So I'll bring it to the next point, which is gonna be why was the new 52 Superman so unpopular?
Hmm.
So this is my interpretation of it. Rental Superman might have a different idea. He may not be popular. Like he might think he is popular. You might have a different idea for it as well. But I think New 52 Superman wasn't as popular as the original Superman. He said, "Oh no, garbage Superman."
Rip,
So
rip.
he cheat. Oh yeah, he is garbage. Jesus. So that's actually one point right there. But my reasoning is I think he wasn't as popular because he was just more of a cocky version of Superman, like a guy who's like, yeah, it's me. I am Superman. I am the Superman. I am like I am better than you. I'm doing this to kind of. I mean, I'm being Clark Kent not because I don't. Because I know I don't need to be. It's just because I'm kind of gets bored and want to just be um what's that Little Mermaid? I want to be where the people are. The little best Little Mermaid quote for him.
Yo, you're not wrong. I want to see what they do.
Yeah. Politician Superman. Yeah, basically, he didn't really do anything except for like he was just kind of vibing. Russell said wasn't even a Boy Scout and he was tempted to kill. He was willing to kill Bruce. There we go. He
Yeah,
he wasn't.
great loser right there.
Yeah, he wasn't really doing what Superman was supposed to do, like be that humble guy who like from a small town who I don't know, like, small town boy went to a big city, kind of like a humble in his nature. He was just kind of he just acted like he was a shit and didn't smell.
Mhm.
Um I think the way they actually took him out was kind of cool, but sorry, was really cool because they gave him like that one strong, really impressive ability of he was able to harness all of his power all at once. But the fact that his drawback was that he was just like a normal human being for 24 hours, and also using that ability was slowly killing him, was kind of a massive drawback for something that you like for a guy who seems like he's too good for life.
Mm.
So maybe it was more like he did it for a heroic reason, but at the same time, maybe he used that because he just wants to prove to everyone that he is still the shit. Um, which doing so anyways, they show that like the OG Superman was just chilling in Smallville regardless. So he was just doing his own thing. He was like, "Oh, there's a Superman. I don't need to do this either way." Um, which kind of proved like the OG Superman was the really humble guy that everyone knew because he went back to his roots. He kind of sat out. He did the things here and there. Like he was still being a Superman. Superman that drives a F-350. He was the Superman that was driving a truck, probably, doing just farm work and just kind of like minding his own business. But what rental Superman is saying that OG Superman did fix some of new Superman's fuck ups. Because I mean, granted, what the new 52 did, which they made him younger, so he was less experienced. So you have OG Superman probably like in his later 30s or 40 or early 40s, um, knowing how to do everything, just kind of like doing what needed to be done correctly. Um, but my rambling's over. Did you want to say anything, Crimson?
No, I definitely agree with you on it. He was just kind of like, no, he was giving me major small D energy the whole entire time. Like he was just trying to overcompensate for something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like I feel like he was a very insecure Superman.
most definitely insecure Superman for sure.
So I feel like that's part of the reason why a lot of people didn't like him, because he wasn't that shiny beacon of justice in a sense. He didn't have like the bravado that OG Superman had. He just had, yeah, yes, hence the Ford F-350.
Yeah.
And no, I feel like it was just a more insecure Superman. He wasn't the Man of Steel. He wasn't
He's
Wonder
like
Boy. He wasn't
man a
someone that
copper
you
for
could really.
sure.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, no. So I definitely agree, and yeah, that's my point on it.
All right. Just going back to the chat. The man of brass is what Miss Potter just called him.
The Man of Brass, bold and brash, more like belongs in the trash, my dude.
Oh God. Let's see. Rental said, then we found out it was because the true embodiment of Superman has already existed and was married to his wife. Okay. So yeah, so basically what we were just saying, like he did bring his son, his and Lois to Smallville. He was living that like not even suburban, that farmer lifestyle, just vibing and being happy in both himself. Um Super Rental Superman actually said that all the new 52 was too garbage. I agree, but I will still say my boy Kid Flash, aka Wally West, aka OG Wally West, amazing. Don't even care. Amazing. Red Hood and Gang and Suicide Squad. Well, I didn't read Suicide Squad, but Red Hood definitely did really, really well for it. And I'm really happy about that too.
They usually do a really good adaptation of Red Hood. It's kind of hard to mess him up.
Yeah, you just gotta kind of make him like edgier Batman, and it kind of works out. Sometimes it works out, but other times not so much. I did like the Grayson comic books though. I will say that
Mm,
they
they were decent.
yeah, they were pretty, like, I think they were just like good comics. Like they didn't really have anything stressful to go through with them. It was just like Special Agent Grayson, which was just a nice kind of like calming comic book to just go through. I think the only thing I don't like about how they do a lot of Dick Grayson comics, and a lot of women probably have the same issue with female characters, is that they did a lot of butt shots for him. Um,
Sexualizing my boy.
yeah.
Sexualizing my boy.
So I think a lot of women could probably agree with, like, on the female side of that, like they always do like down panel shots and stuff like that, and they kind of did that a little bit with Dick Grayson for a while too. You mean that you ain't caked up like Dick Grayson? All that gymnastics, yeah, all that gymnastics, and it's just like after a certain point it just kind of gets boring. Like it's just one of those things, like you see it over and over again, you kind of just get like, oh, okay, so this is what they're doing today, great, what's next?
Yeah.
And sometimes you just gotta see something else. um but it's really like I guess the whole new 52 is just like really not that great. It just got a little too convoluted, I guess is probably the best word for it.
I
um
remember.
Oh, what were you gonna
One of
say?
my oh no, I remember one of my boys. He works at a comic shop. He said those were one of the worst selling comics that he's ever like tried to sell at his shop.
Oh, I bet.
Like they just sit there, even like release and stuff like that. People were very upset with it.
Oh, I absolutely don't doubt that. There's a lot of things in that comic. Like I've read a couple of them, and it's just like here and there. It's like, what are you doing? The anthem of comics. That is a statement.
Wow. So you're saying it looked pretty, but that's about it.
It looked pretty, but I also want my refund.
Exactly.
Oh my god! I remember I brought that back. I think that's a. I think that is the game that GameStop changed their whole policy over.
It was.
Yeah, like the whole like you can't bring back a new game policy. I think Anthem is the reason that they were like, okay, please give it back, please. We want it back. I'm so sorry.
Because remember, it was breaking people's systems.
Yeah,
It was legit the brick of the gaming industry.
it didn't brick my PS5. Oh, not my PS5, my PS4, but it was just the save data alone on my system made it so laggy, and like right when I deleted it, my system just started working perfectly again, and I was just like, what it was that bad?
Remember, I got the game for free. And I heard that it bricks systems. So as soon as I was about to play it, I said, nope, I'm turning it off, uninstalling it because it was a digital copy, and I didn't touch it for like 5 years.
Did
And
they ever
then
improve on it?
they did.
Oh, okay.
It just it's dead.
Oh yeah, that's right, I forgot.
Like full dead there. No, no, nothing. Not happening no more.
which is which says a huge statement, to be honest with you, about like what DC Comics was doing with the New 52. They weren't doing anything well. Like the whole like I like the idea that their big bad monster and that was like um was Dr. Manhattan.
Hmm.
But the fact that they didn't ask the actual creators of Dr. Manhattan if it was okay to do that, to use any of their characters, they just started using it and went with the flow. It's like you kind of you're kind of just abusing your rights. I guess. Well, not abusing your rights. That's the worst way to say anything. Abusing the characters that you own. Abusing the characters that you own. That is the right way to probably say this.
Man just said that they're using their privilege.
Yeah. Right. Just had to go like, wait, wrong phrasing entirely.
Wrong verbiage.
Yeah.
I need a redo. Flash, bring me back a few minutes.
Just the stream edited automatically. This is an issue. Miss Potter said that Anthem was she only sold one copy of Anthem and it was a gag gift. So yeah, that's
Keep waiting for the Superman collab with G Fuel.
Okay, but like that sounds good.
I know. I would low key like that.
Yeah.
Actually, high key like that.
Call it Man of Steel.
Oh my gosh. But what flavor would that have to be? It'd have to be
if it's not, a rocket pop, it's not right. We all know this.
Yeah. What if they had like a Red Sun fruit punch?
That sounds delicious. Both of those just sound perfect, honestly. So actually, Miss Potter and Dory said that Pop Rock was the first thing that came to mind. Well, Dory said Pop Rock was the first thing that came to mind, and Miss Potter actually put it in all caps, which is honestly, I think, almost unanimous.
Hashtag Rocket Pop.
Hashtag Rocket Pop. Kryptonian passion fruit.
Oh.
There could be a whole line of these right now.
Let me tell you, if it's gonna have a Kryptonian passion fruit, it better have freaking Soups and Lois up there.
Oh my god, that would. Oh god,
silhouette.
I would actually. I would drink that. I would whole thing. If I ever see it, I'm making sure this podcast stays, and I can just send and be like, I want the money for all of us right now.
Patent it right now. Patent it right now.
Yo, seriously.
Put in the idea to W right quick, bro.
Yo, for real. They're about to love me.
Oh, Green Lantern Guava. Ooh.
That'd be good too. That'd be fire.
Sinestro Mango.
All right, we're just gonna be like popping off with DC flavors.
Wait, don't they have a Flash one though? I feel like they definitely have like a Flash.
I know they have a Sonic one, and that's probably like the best. No, is that G Fuel?
Yeah, G Fuel.
Okay, yeah, the Sonic one is probably the best G Fuel I've had. The PewDiePie one, honestly, garbage.
Oh, that's trash.
Yeah. And then what else? All the Ghost. I had a Ghost protein shake. It was the nastiest one I've ever had in my life. But also, I went for risking it for the biscuits.
They have a new Dragon Ball Z one.
Ooh.
And I bought a case.
Oh, okay.
It's Kamehameha Strawberry Lychee Berry.
That sounds pretty good too.
It tastes like those Japanese sodas that have like a little ball on the top that you gotta pop down like.
I would, yeah, that sounds good. Where'd you get that from?
They actually sell my vitamin shop now.
The closest, yeah, I think the closest vitamin shop to me is about 30 minutes away, so it's gonna be a little bit of a trip.
They can send it to your house.
Valid point.
Just ship it to you.
Very valid point. Very valid point.
Also, I saw a W restock. There's a W restock on some of their shaker cups and starter packs now. Just in case, if you want to, make sure you use Mega's code.
Thank you for that.
I'm just saying, they got it up there.
Actually, you can use the link. I just put it in chat, so you can actually click on the link, and it'll actually bring you over to W and give you the 10% off code too.
It's true.
Yeah. But let's keep. I'm gonna keep chugging along just a little bit longer. Just for the last point. So this is gonna be more of a. Just take my mod status screen.
I mean,
okay.
I'm just saying, I had just to do the shameless plug. We were talking about G Fuel, but we got to bring it back to the board.
So there's no Mega Monkey Mangoade, but there is a Monkey Madness. I don't know if you can see that because of the glare right now. There we go.
I see it.
Yeah, Monkey Madness, which is actually, there's no caffeine in it. It's actually a hydration blend. So honestly, I do recommend that. It tastes really good. My only downside with it is that the flavor kind of gets boring after a while. You can kind of like taste there's like a little bit of salt to it. Just for the electrolyte portion of it, because they don't use any fillers, which is really nice. So it's, you kind of get what you get, but there's no fillers to it. There's it's not all natural, but it is nicer to have like a little bit of everything you know of rather than a lot of random shit.
Yeah.
So
quick question, are we going to see a Mega Merch X Superman thing coming soon?
Probably not anytime soon. As you know, to pay for merch is very expensive. And your boy's broke. So I do actually have some merch if anyone's actually interested in it. It is in my link tree that, every so often will probably pop up, or I can just pop it in now. So if you want to use my link tree, it'll give you all my socials, and the merch shop, which has some really nice stuff.
Will there be any links for the podcast or anything like that?
So not yet. I actually want to make sure that all the podcasts are on Spotify first, but there is a link to YouTube, if I'm not mistaken, that you can use. I'm going to double check right now before I'm lying to everybody. There's no link to YouTube because I'm an idiot. So ignore me on that one. Coming soon. Everything still needs to get worked out. like, obviously this is a live stream podcast, so this is really fresh, this is really new. I'd like to make sure everyone knows that for some reason. But I do actually, I'm making sure that, a lot of the information is out there, a lot of things are being shown. I'm trying my best to promote it because I actually am, I'm enjoying it. Putting people on here is actually really nice. It's a little nerve-wracking to, it's basically like having an interview with people, which is kind of insane. And putting you on here is, we have to kind of like make sure the time works out perfectly. You're interested in the topic and all this other crazy stuff. So there we go. Miss Potter actually posted the YouTube link, and if you guys are interested, the Discord actually does have the Spotify link to it as well. So if you guys want to follow, you can hear like the previous podcasts on there. They're only slightly edited, so it's not like anything too insane. So you're kind of getting more or less just like what's happening in the podcast regardless. I'm gonna stop with the promo stuff though. We only have one more question left, so I'm gonna just hop over to that. I do appreciate that you guys are actually, hold on, I don't know if this actually works on this one. Mega appreciation. Cool, I think that worked. I do appreciate you guys actually, coming to, the live stream and everything, because I don't really know that many people that actually do live stream podcasts, and if they do, they're usually just sitting there with, a bunch of like one or two friends, and they're just kind of like BSing the entire time. I mean, we're kind of BSing for the most part too, but we actually
on topic slightly.
Yeah, we're trying to keep the topic. We're trying to make sure everything kind of goes. Well, we're trying to make sure that everything kind of goes still smoothly. There's not too much dead air happening either, which there's people who have like 6-hour podcasts who are just sitting in, like, not trying to point fingers because I don't have any fingers to point with anyone, but we're not just sitting quietly on a couch doing nothing.
6 hours, damn.
Yeah, no, I'm not joking. Like, people really do sit down for no reason, like not saying anything. So Dory, guess what the next question is? Boom. How would you create a character with his abilities? So funny enough. So Dory actually is asking, what would make Superman a better character? Gender bender, race, background, etc. So basically my question to you is, how would you create a character that has Superman's abilities?
That is actually a really hard question because there's actually been a lot of good adaptations of it
Yeah.
so far. I don't know, to be honest. Let me hear what you're thinking first, and then I'll come back so I can really think of a good answer for you.
So I'll be honest. This is a question I actually thought of, and I didn't even put an answer on it. Like, I didn't think about it or anything. So I'm actually on the same boat as you. One thing I will say is that there have been a Superman comics that I've actually enjoyed. Well, one Superman comic I've actually enjoyed, I should say. It was about not Superman, but Clark Kent, who was learning his own powers, making like kind of like learning his own way. He didn't even know he was able to drown still. Like, he was in a helicopter, he was in a helicopter, the helicopter blew up, they crash landed in the ocean, and he passed out, woke up with the pilot in his hands. He was like, oh wow, I didn't know I could actually drown. That's actually surprising, because he was a guy who can't get shot by bullets, and nothing happens. And he finds out he still needs air to breathe, which is kind of like a cool thing.
Actually, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just, and he also pretended he was Bruce Wayne in the same comic book, which is hilarious enough. But
Mr. Playboy right there.
Yeah, so it was actually really funny because it was Rental said, I want a Superman that has to absorb a living person before he can use his Superman powers for an 8 hour time period. It would be the weight of, do we really need Superman that bad, and how far can we go morally to save the world? Is one life taking worth it? Hmm.
I have a counter to that though.
Was
If they were to do that, well, it's not really like a counter, but what they could technically do in that situation is people on death row. They could just have those people be essentially euthanized by Superman.
so murderers who are, already convicted for murder, he would
Hmm.
actually use their life.
Instead of
Um,
like a normal innocent person's life, which is how they can technically, not justify it, but make it work in a sense. If they wanted to keep it like morally, like still morally sound in a sense,
okay, I actually like that
wouldn't that be
idea.
cool?
So like he actually has his body, he still has his powers and everything, but he just uses convicted criminals.
Hmm.
Um, Still Clark tries to save everyone, even convicts. Yeah, but I guess that is the trolley theory on that one, anyways. If you really want to think about it.
Hmm.
So, you do know the trolley theory before we, or should I just explain it either way?
Explain it.
Okay, so it's essentially like a theory just basically saying like a train car is running and there's five people on one side versus one person on the other side. Which way do you pull the train lever to, run it over, like run that person over? um but if you think about that, like which way would you do it?
Is the life of one worth the life of many?
Yes. And then they flip it over to, well, this is a doctor who is studying cancer so they can, finally, find a vaccine for cancer, versus five convicted criminals. Which way would you pull the lever at that point?
It's all morally gray. There's
Yeah,
no right choice in either situation technically. I mean, you'd love to say, "Oh, just kill all the criminals," but you don't know that because it's all blind. You won't know until after you make like the decision.
exactly. And honestly, I think at that point, if what Rental's saying, like if you have Superman who absorbs a living person to get his superhero powers for 8 hours, um, is it like the people know this is happening? Is it like everybody knows this is how he does it, and is he being worshipped for destroying criminals? And also has like people who fear him versus people who are praising him, who want him to do this, like with them. So like rather than a convicted felon, is there like a cult of people who are like doing this for like a some form of pleasure?
I think that would also potentially, depending on what Superman it would be, would feed into his ego and make like a tyrannical Superman in a sense.
Yeah, so it's always that idea too. um so I wouldn't even think about the question like how I would want my Superman either, which is still
I
really
got
bad.
one.
Oh,
I
go for
I
it.
figured out something. So it's gonna sound really, I don't know if it's gonna sound dumb, but I feel like this would be a cool thing. So think about it kind of like the God of War story, like from beginning to end, but just with Superman.
Okay.
So, starting off, accidentally killing Lois, right? And in his child, trying to take out revenge on the person who essentially got him to do it. Becoming a god, fall from grace, killing gods, and so on and so forth. Gets his redemption arc, kills himself or tries to, comes back in a different area as an older, more wise Superman, raising a new child, and then so on and so forth. I think that would be a very interesting story.
That would actually be a really interesting story. That does kind of sound like it's a mix between like the Injustice series and then Gods and Monsters.
Mm. Yes, yes.
So that actually would be a pretty good one. Um I think I probably would bounce back and forth between like how the Sentry used to be. Um Kind of like a man who has so much power but Miss Potter actually says she is. Said I'm kind of confused. What if you want to bring the question up of what is confusing you? We would definitely try to answer it, or yeah, definitely try. We can't really promise it.
Brain is slightly smooth, so I will try my best.
Yeah. Oh, it was just kind of like the more of the deeper idea of it. So, is killing a convicted felon worth the lives of saving the rest of the world? Or, if even if it's not the convicted felon, probably not. Is killing a person worth saving everyone else in the world? Because you never really know what they're doing. Is it really worth doing, is it really worth murdering that person because they also have a life that they could be living um to save everybody else? Is Superman really necessary? Is the train necessary to run over that person, or can we just really stop the train, I guess?
So that, I guess, an easy way. Spoiler alert. Kind of like The Last of Us. You know what I mean? Joel kind of made that decision. If you played the game,
Yeah.
Joel kind of made that decision: sacrifice Ellie to save the world, or let her live, and kind of damn the rest of humanity.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. um
Yes, I
okay.
played Life is Strange.
Yeah, I was gonna make sure you guys saw that. It's literally
Yeah,
the
you're straight.
ending.
Mhm.
I don't know if Rental Superman is still in here, but I do have a question for him. Also, I think, like I was saying though, um, I think I would have like Superman be, you know, like how Sentry was at a certain point in Marvel Comics. A man who is able to save or destroy the world at his leisure, but is also agoraphobic. Because,
Mm,
like a guy who has all that power but is also not even willing to leave his house is something that, I don't know, this sounds so insane to me.
yeah.
But Dory did say something about he wanted. I would like to see a Superman who has some lesion. So like a Superman with a mental illness, which also honestly would be pretty interesting itself.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, I had a question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
What were your thoughts on Flashpoint Superman?
The Superman where he's like super skinny, who was like stuck in the red sun cage for like most of his
Hmm.
life.
Yes.
Um, honestly, that was an interesting take on it. I will openly admit that was a really interesting take. That one and the Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. Those might have, well, the Flashpoint Superman was really interesting, just more due to the fact that it's like a man who had all this power but was like stuck in a cage and was not able to use any.
Hmm.
Um, versus the man who had all of the powers but then also got them stripped away from him.
Yes.
um those are like the most powerful stories you could actually write, in my opinion. um Kind of like a grown man who's basically a baby to the world and has way too much power to begin with is something that would be really interesting to try to like take that take on. um but then also you have to think about like, it's like the man who has everything, or who had everything but then also just got everything taken away from him, is also like a man who is willing to get everything he can back and then fight for anything he can save. And that's probably like the scariest person you can ever like try to write.
No, you're definitely right.
um
Now, what were your thoughts on the Injustice games and comics?
the Injustice games, I didn't read the comics. Well, I didn't read a lot of the comics, I should say. The Injustice games are actually like a take of Superman that I wasn't really fully prepared for, but I was fully like happy about. He was a character who actually I kind of agreed with, to be honest with you. Um, the Joker kind of had too much power. He wasn't like everyone was like, "Oh, it's not worth killing him," even though it definitely was.
Mhm.
The fact that Superman took it into his own hands to kill him was something that was very interesting to do, because in like one fell swoop you can see like a man who almost believed that even the smallest speck of life was worth saving, literally ripping the heart out of like something he could consider the devil himself.
Mm.
And that's also the goal of like the Joker too, is, and even if the Joker died, he succeeded in his goal, and which is always to break whoever who is his current
Target.
target. Yes. So he never breaks Batman. He broke Commissioner Gordon, and what he said in the series itself was that he went to Superman because it was too easy. He was such an easy target to defeat, that he just needed like a break from Batman.
Yeah.
And once you see like the panel itself, you can see Batman shocked, or if you play the video game, you can see that like Batman's in the background, like, oh god damn it. You see Joker dies with a laugh. He's laughing like through his death, and you have Superman who is shattered. And I thought that was perfect.
I'd say what for a fighting video game, which I'm a lot of fighting video games, the stories are not that good. That series right there,
It was
top tier, top
absolutely,
tier.
absolutely. It was actually, I'm really surprised they actually put so much detail into that story, because Mortal Kombat alone didn't have that much detail until like the last two games.
Hmm.
And Mortal Kombat's been going on since I believe 1992 or 19 like between like 1992 and 1994 is the first Mortal Kombat game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're the Mortal Kombat was the game that got what's it called the
ESRB
rating.
rating.
Yep,
Yeah.
ESRB. Yes.
The only reason why I know that is because I had to do a book report on it once.
I thought you were about to say because we had to do the training on GameStop's freaking online
Nope.
training thing.
Nope. I knew that because I had to do a report on it.
There you go. Uh,
The last thing I actually wanted to bring up is the new Superman. Not like, the new 52 or anything like that, but Superman's son, Jonathan Kent. Jonathan Kent is, I believe he is gay, not bisexual. Like, he is fighting for a lot of social justices in comic books. So, rights. He's also fighting for, you know, Black Lives Matter and all that other stuff in comics. Um, and with what I said earlier, do you think that what they're trying to do with Jonathan Kent is basically bring Superman back to his original roots? So he is trying to save the world with like one political statement at a time, whereas Superman is trying to save the world by destroying these planet destroying monsters from the other world.
I definitely do feel like it is a true like yeah return to form in a sense, just in a more modern day with more modern issues in a sense. I
Yeah.
mean, technically the same issues were still going on back in the day, but now I feel like they're more spoken about in this day and age. So I guess technically this is a Superman that we would essentially need in this time period versus Superman that we needed in the previous time.
All right. So I really hope that's what they're trying to do with him. I know that recently he had to fight Darkseid, but in all honesty, I really do want to see more Jonathan Kent, fighting for, the for the little guy more. not how Superman's been, going back and forth with like he's basically fighting Jeffrey Bezos, where um you have Jonathan Kent, Superman, fighting for like the amount of times like police officers have been killing, black people or just people in general. And I think that that's where they should probably like keep it for like every so often they can like go like fight a bad guy together as father and son. But I think for now, if they have their own separate comics, they should do it as like, if you want, you know Battle World, you have Clark Kent. If you want um Donald Trump, going back for presidency, you have Jonathan Kent. And yeah, I think that might be like the good happy medium for all of it.
No, I feel like that's like a good like how do I say this? It's kind of like Miles Morales when like he first showed up in a
Hmm.
sense. You know what I mean? So I think if they do it properly, kind of like how they did with Miles and stuff like that, I think he could definitely succeed. It just all depends on if they keep it going. I guess the same way that it should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if
And
you just try to make Superman 2.0, but him just being gay, I don't think it's gonna work as well as you know what they currently, I guess, started off with.
honestly, I think so too. But actually, that was like my, it wasn't even like part of the questions that I had written. That was the last question though that I really had. So how did you like me on the stream? This is your first time being on here, so I don't know if you were like, if you want to come back on anytime soon.
Oh yeah, no, I'd definitely come back on. It was a fun. It's just really fun. I mean,
All right.
we're already boys outside of this stuff, so
Yeah,
like,
true.
it's just like it feels like we're just talking like normal. So like, that's one good thing. No, I definitely be back on. You
Perfect.
know,
I would love to actually have you back on because this is actually really fun. Um, so I don't really have another point for the next stream though, to be honest with you. So like I said, I'm gonna find. Well, I said it in my Discord, but so this was the last stream topic that I have ready. So next stream I'm gonna have have my points ready, but if anyone ever has a suggestion for what they want to hear or want to talk about on these Discords, or not on my Discords but on this like live streams, please tell me. I'm completely down to even like put some questions out. If you want to be part of it, you can always ask me and I'll let you know. I don't have like a queue of people who want to come through, so I'm usually like kind of popping around seeing if anyone is available. I know that these are mostly been about comic books, anime, and video games, but if you do have like maybe a musical taste that you want to talk about, please come in. If you have something I don't know, film that you want to talk about, I'm completely down to ask you any questions that if you're available and ready. Um, Past that point, I think we're good to go. I don't know if you want to sit down and talk a little bit more after this. I can probably put you in Shoot the Breeze afterwards, and we can bring more people in, but that's completely up to you.
I mean, I think I should be good for a little bit just because I kind of want to watch the new Last of Us episode. You know,
Fair enough.
but I mean, like I said, if you want, let me know. I do have a potential suggestion.
Yeah. What's your suggestion? Or actually, you
Um,
probably tell me afterwards if it's something you don't want to say on here.
I can say it on here. I don't
Oh,
mind.
okay. What's up?
Um, Dragon Ball related. The potential of hybrid Saiyans versus normal purebred Saiyans.
Do you want to talk about that right now?
Oh no no no! Let's say for another time. That would be a whole
Okay.
other topic. That's a whole topic.
All
That's like
right. I was about to
5 hours
say this.
different.
This is a whole new stream at this point. All right. So yeah, I'll throw that in my suggestion box, and then I can do that easily. I can have a conversation about Dragon Ball Z for forever. So don't worry. Um, so I think at that point we're done for the stream, which is never a terrible thing. For now, let's go on Twitch unless you have a suggestion for someone who is actually streaming currently.
Try to make a closing statement.
Go right ahead.
Being an anime fan here, Goku does beat Superman. I'm just kidding. Superman beats Goku. all the time.
Oh my god! I was
Majority
like,
of this time.
I really was
I
just
just
like,
want to see your face. I just want to see your face.
we
Nah,
just
Superman
talked about
beats
this.
Nah, Superman beats Goku. I'd say at least 80. 30. I know that's wrong math, but I don't care.
Dude, I had a crazy like I don't think you're right. I don't know if you want to rephrase that.
I just need to see your face for it. I need to see your face for it. Nah, Superman definitely beats Goku.
All right.
It's a low difficulty.
Let's see who we have. Do we do a new streamer, like a new stream entirely, or do we have someone who I currently follow?
Man, yeah. That's a hard choice.
This is always where I am. I've bought each Sunday what I've done is actually rate Autocat, which I feel like I'm overrating Autocat, so I want to actually just one different. But the only person I have who, you know, is not a high ranked streamer, I have like Drew Gulliver, who's currently streaming, who has 54 people.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Some people on them.
Well, they also have like a really big platform too.
True. You know what? What's a good current game that came out?
Actually, Hi-Fi Rush is actually a pretty good game that came out. I'm loving Forspoken, and we can also do Dead Space.
You know, I was playing some Forspoken earlier on PC. Chef's Kiss on PC.
Wait, which Dead Space?
No, Dead Space actually is very like glitchy. Well, sorry, stuttery on PC. But Forspoken was fun playing on PC. But why don't you try Hi-Fi Rush? You know, it's a new game. I think a lot of people would enjoy it.
Let's see who we have.
If people are streaming it right now, that
is. Sometimes you got to figure out whose vibe is a little bit better just from like what they're looking at.
Yeah.
Here, let me.
I see this guy is Spalding2365. I don't have audio on, but he has a Nezuko picture as his like profile picture.
Nezuko?
It's like I sent some good vibes already.
All right, what's his name?
Spalding2365. His chat doesn't seem to be talking a lot, but I feel like he got a decent setup over there. And I see Super Sonic and Super Shadow.
Spalding.
Here, let me. Can I post links inside of your?
Honestly, I don't even remember if you can or not, but I might actually have them already right here. Oh, yep. You said it's Sonic and Shadow, right?
Yep, Sonic and Shadow.
All right, got him. Very quiet.
Knock knock, here we come.
Never mind, there he goes.
Who's in here? Whose asses do I need to beat?
Let's see.
Hey, there's Kale, and that's what's her name, the old vandal.
Yeah, let's give. I'll give him a raid.
Yeah, why not? You got a couple people on there, so why not?
Yeah.
So supports some other streamers sometimes.
Yeah. All right, guys. This is gonna be end of the stream. I'm so happy you guys came in. Like I said, in all honesty, I think tomorrow I might be like, please, you can help me do this and do that, because I definitely need a new chair and I have it on Throne, the one I'm looking at. Yeah, it's getting pretty bad for my chair. But again, I appreciate it, and let me throw you in some credits, and then we're gonna pop over to the raid.
Appreciate you letting me come on here, man. It was a fun time.